Hello everyone, it's Lurgs here, welcome to my channel, and today the Vauxhall Vivaro, the tyre pressures and what they should be. Now this should be the same on the Renault Trafic, the Nissan Primastar and the Fiat Talento, as they're virtually identical vans, but it's definitely worth checking your manual first. Make sure that when you check the tyre pressures that the tyres are cold. First thing you need to do is find out what type of tyres you have. This will be written on the tyre wall of your tyre. And on this Vauxhall Vivaro, we've got a 205/65 R16 tyre. And you should have the same tyres all the way round, but it's definitely worth checking the rear ones just in case they're slightly different. Next thing to do is open the passenger door. And on the passenger door pillar, you've got this diagram here explaining what the tyre pressure should be on the front and the rear on your Vauxhall Vivaro. Now I just pause this and make the diagram a little bit clearer. Now on our particular van we've got 205/65 R16s, and that means that the tyre pressure on the front should be 55 psi and on the rear 61 psi. If you've got 195/65 R16s, it's 49 psi on the front and 53 psi on the rear. And if you've got 215/65 R16s, it's 45 psi on the front and 49 psi on the rear. Now there is a tyre specification not listed on this label, and that is a 195/75 R16. And if you've got one of those, it's 55 psi on the front and 61 psi on the rear. I'm just going to check the front tyre on this Vauxhall Vivaro, and I'm going old school with an old style manual PSI checker. And there's a link above now about the battery location and how to check the battery on your Vauxhall Vivaro. And this is showing about 46 psi, so this definitely needs some air inflated into the tyre. So I'm just going to go old school with a foot pump. Obviously, if you take your Vauxhall Vivaro to a garage, they normally have digital readouts where you can actually set the PSI before you start, and then you just plug it in and it automatically pumps it up to the correct pressure. And there's a link above now about the fuse box location and how to check the fuses on your Vauxhall Vivaro. Don't trust the reading on these manual foot pumps because they're not very accurate. Once you've put enough air into it, make sure you check the pressure again. Once you've got it up to the correct pressure, you can put the valve cap back on, and then just go around to the other three tyres and check all the pressures in those as well. And it's also worth checking the pressure on your spare tyre. If you found that video useful, please subscribe by pressing this button down here so you don't miss more videos on how to save you time and money. There's also some other videos around the edges of the screen here. If any of those are useful to you, then you can select those now. Thank you for visiting my channel, everyone. I really appreciate it.